It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for your weekly edition of Travel Grunt. I'm your host, Zac Wilson, and I need a vacation. What's up first on the pad of power this week in travel news? Boy, oh boy, do we have a long list. Just look at that. It's a really long list, so let's go through it. The U.S. Senate and the House have passed a bill and are sending it to the White House to be signed that should allow Alaska cruises to begin this summer. So what's happening here? You've heard me in the past on this show talk about the Passenger Vessel Services Act that requires that if a ship is flagged out of a foreign country, that if they're going to go from a U.S. port, sail, and then come back to U.S. port, that they have to touch down at a foreign port of call in between. And so this really causes a problem for Alaska sailings because say you leave Anchorage and you want to come down to Seattle or vice versa, where's a foreign port? Well, Canada. Unfortunately, for 2021, Canada is not receiving any passenger vessels with more than 100 passengers during this year, which if you think of a big cruise ship with 2,000 to 5,000 people, that's certainly more than 100, so we can't dock. That means no cruise season in Alaska. But wait, there are small ships that sail with less than 100 people, so they're fine. But what about cruise lines like Princess and Holland America, who are amazing in the Alaska cruise market? Well, this bill would temporarily relieve that requirement until February of 2022. So basically that means cruise ships could sail between Seattle and Anchorage, Alaska, or round trip from one of those ports without having to touch Canada. So therefore, cruising in Alaska. This is exciting news. Matter of fact, Princess has already announced that they're ready to start taking bookings for sailings as early as July 25th for the rest of the Alaska season through September. I bet those are going to sell out incredibly fast. So stay tuned to Travel Grunt for more news as this develops. Also, we have the TSA passenger volume tops 1.8 million for the first time since pre-COVID. That's a one-day number. That's how many passengers in the United States are flying on airplanes. Now, what's important to note is that in May 16th of 2019 had 2.6 million passengers that day. 2020, no. I mean, ghost town on the airplanes. We all saw the pictures, right? So for the fact that on May 16th of 2021 that we hit 1.8 million, that's the biggest day we've had since pre-COVID. That is a huge sign that travel is returning. Also, Margaritaville Resorts are back in the news. They're opening 3 new locations. Let's see, Nassau, Bahamas, Key West, Florida, Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic. This is exciting for people who love all-inclusive resorts. I don't know if the one in Key West, Florida will be all-inclusive or just a resort hotel, but you can surefire bet that the ones in the other countries will probably be all-inclusive. Stay tuned for more information on that. I can tell you that one of them is getting a $3 million makeover. They bought another property and they're redoing it, and it's going to be incredible. Also, Italy is welcoming U.S. tourists on quarantine-free flights on American Airlines, Delta, and United. What does that mean? What is quarantine-free flights? What does that mean? It means that there are certain health and safety protocols that are required of the airlines and the passengers involved in these flights so that when you get to Italy, you can skip any quarantine requirements that they might have for tourists. So we actually have some friends and colleagues of ours from the KHM Travel Group who are actually in Italy right now. They took these quarantine-free flights so they could tell us all about them. And here's what they shared with us today. 3 days before boarding the plane, they took a COVID test. Negative result. At the airport, prior to boarding the plane, a rapid test. Negative result. Upon arrival in Italy at the airport, rapid test. Negative result. Quarantine free. Now, what they really want me to share with you is that just because you can go to Italy doesn't mean that currently today that Italy is what Italy was to a tourist. What that means is not everything's open. Some of the museums and attractions are still closed. Some of the restaurants are not fully operational. Not all of the hotels have availability. So they showed some great pictures and some Facebook Lives, and wow, what an incredible experience. The things that are open, usually where you'd see crowds and crowds of tourists, are like you got your own private tour. This could be a very unique experience and opportunity. So it won't be what we're used to, but it could be something very special. So keep that in mind for Italy. So that's it for a travel news. What's next on the Pad of Power? Hey, Zach, what are you daydreaming about? I don't know. What am I daydreaming about? I'll tell you what I'm daydreaming about. I'm excited about the Senate and the House getting together and trying to help restore this tourism economy to the state of Alaska because I really miss Alaska. I just want to get out my binoculars and be on the lookout for some coastal brown bears and some moose and some Dall sheep, maybe even a bald eagle. I'm telling you, the wildlife up there is unreal. Of course, we were there, 2019. My son Alex and I went up there. It was incredible. We went dog sledding in the snow. That's awesome. We went whale watching during feeding season. Awesome. We've got some great videos of those on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and check out the Daydream Vacations YouTube channel and look at our Alaska videos, right? Doing the Glacier Bay National Park, only a couple of ships per day get to go in there. Make sure that your travel advisor helps you confirm that your itinerary includes Glacier Bay National Park. I'm going to say from personal experience, if it doesn't, you're not really sailing in Alaska. But that's just my opinion. Now, I will say this. We sailed on a Princess cruise ship. It was the Royal Princess. Her sister ship, the Majestic Princess, is currently up there in the Alaska market this season and next year. We have a lot of advanced bookings going. And here's what's important about these ships. They're called Medallion class. Matter of fact, I'm wearing one on a lanyard around my neck right now. That little circle there, that is a medallion. And what's really kind of neat about this medallion is you can have it on a lanyard like this, or they can take it out of this plastic thing and they can put it on a watch band. You can get a really pretty necklace and have it be in there like just a token. You can do all kinds of things, or maybe just take it off the lanyard, stick it in your pocket. You might lose it that way. I like the lanyard. It's really, really cool. I encourage you to check this out online, but let me tell you just briefly what I loved about it. When I went up to my door, it sensed me coming. And the door would unlock when I was about 10 feet away and I could just walk in. No key needed. Awesome. There are these really cool, think of like gigantic iPads, like the size of a refrigerator in every elevator lobby. When I walk up to it, it senses me coming. It's like, hey, Zach, what's up? And I'm like, I want to see where my shipmates are. And it pulls up the people who are in my room. So I touched Alex's name. And it pulls up a deck plan, like GPS, and put a little dot on it and showed me where he was. This is awesome for families and parents, man. You don't have to worry about where your kids are at. It's like, well, okay, they've been out having fun at the kids club. Maybe they're adventuring and being sneaky and running around the ship. And where are they going to go, right? So it's time for dinner. And you're like, where are my kids at? You go to the elevator lobby. You're like, boop, boop, boop. And like, I see where you're hiding. I mean, it kind of ruins hide and seek on the cruise ship, but it's awesome. Something silly. So let's say you enjoy adult libations. Maybe you're James Bond and you like it shaken, not stirred. The bartender knows. You'll be walking up and out of nowhere you'll be like, oh, good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. Or maybe you'll say, Mr. Bond, here it is, shaken, not stirred. Just how you like it. It's incredible. You can do shopping, you can do all kinds of stuff with this. Matter of fact, if you set up your pre-cruise check-in online before you go to the port, there will be two lines. The really long one filled with people that takes forever to get on the ship, and the one that's called Ocean Ready. And you just walk up, they scan your medallion, and on the ship you go. What? It is absolutely amazing. So I just want to say a big travel grunt as we return to Alaska. Oh, I can't wait for cruising to return. It's incredible. What's next on the Pad of Power? Well, this week was pretty full with a lot of travel news, and so we're just going to go ahead and end today's show here at about the 9-minute mark with this travel quote. Travel and change of place impart new vigor to the mind. I really love this. When we travel, we get inspired. Our creative juices flow. I encourage you, take up drawing, sketching, painting, photography, something, and just let your mind wander. Let it open and let the artistic side of you come out. If you need some inspiration, I encourage you to go visit the Louvre over in Paris or some of the other amazing museums around the world. Until next time, I'm Zac Wilson, and this has been Travel Grunt! Oh, ho, ho, ho.